as we are knowing, the primary lymphoid organs, the fabricaceous, bone marrow, and particularly ileal patches or Pierce patches. They were the example of primary lymphoid organs. Now, when talking about the secondary lymphoid organs, yesterday we have seen that the primary lymphoid organs, they arise in the fetal or in the early life, and they used to evolve with the puberty. So, while the secondary lymphoid organs, they arise late in the fetal life and they persist throughout the adult life. And these organs develop well depending on antigenic stimulation to facilitate antigen trapping and development of immune response. While yesterday we have seen that in the primary, particularly primary lymphoid organ, what was there? In case of primary lymphoid organ, particularly we can say that they were the particular lymphoid organs, particularly primary lymphoid organs. Only the maturation was taking place. In case of primary lymphoid organ, maturation was taking place, while in case of secondary lymphoid organs, when antigen is exposed to those particularly secondary lymphoid organs, here the maturation and particularly response to that particular antigen also used to take place. So there will be the trapping of the antigen and development of immune response. So the secondary lymphoid organs are lymph nodes, spleen, cutaneous immune system, mucosal immune system, and bone marrow. So yesterday I was saying that the bone marrow is the primary lymphoid organ, but it is the secondary lymphoid organ also. Now the slide has changed. So now talking about the first lymphoid organs which I want to discuss today is the lymph nodes. So lymph nodes, as the name indicates, they are the nodes. Okay, they are the small nodes present in the lymphatics. Okay, if lymph nodes are there, particularly if lymphatics are present, so they lymph nodes, they are the bean-shaped structure. Bean-shaped structure, just like the structure of same kadana, you know, it is the bean-shaped structure. So found in large number along the course of lymphatic vessels. So they are, if it is a lymph vessel, they are large in number and connected to each other by lymphatics. These they are connected to each other by the lymphatics to trap antigen carried by the lymph. So they are connected to each other by the lymphatics. So small, big vessels or the large vessel is there, which is made by the connection of small vessels, or the lymph nodes are there. If large vessel is there, if this is a lymphatic vessel is there, so in between there are so many lymph nodes are there, and each lymph node is having the outlet of it, and from there they are connecting together to trap. Particularly they are connected to each other by the lymphatics, and this is used to these lymph nodes or the nodes in the lymphatic vessels are used to trap the antigen, and from where the antigen are carrying, the antigens are being carried by the lymph. So the lymph is having the antigen, that will be trapped with the lymph nodes. So particularly the lymph node structure, we can divide it into the three major parts. Particularly the outer membrane is covered by the fibrous capsule. This white color structure you are seeing is a fibrous capsule. Then the outer portion is known as the cortex. So any of the thing you will be seeing, the outer portion is known as the cortex, while the inner, the pink color, The pink color inner one is known as the medulla. Okay, and in between the cortex, this is the blue color cortex, and the medulla pink color, in between that space is known as the paracortical zone. Paracortical zone. Okay, the space between the cortex and the medulla is known as the paracortical zone. So the lymph node consists of a reticular network filled with lymphocytes, macrophages, dendritic cells through which lymphatic sinus penetrate. Okay, so the lymph node consists of what the structure of the lymph node is having. It is having the reticular network filled with lymphocytes will be there, macrophages will be there, dendritic cells will be there, throughout which lymphatic sinus penetrates. Now this is the same thing which we were discussing. So the cortex, the blue area which I was saying is the cortex. So this cortex is an area of B lymphocytes. Cortex is the cortex is the area of lymph nodes where particularly the B lymphocytes are being present. Where the B lymphocytes are present particularly. Okay, so in the cortex particularly B lymphocytes are present. So the second part is the paracortex. So paracortex means this gray color structure. This gray color structure is known as the paracortex area of the lymph node. It is the site for where the T cells are residing, or it is the site for homing of T cells and interdigitating dendritic cells, where dendritic cells capture antigen, process and present them to the T cells. Okay, so here the major work is being done in the paracortex. What is the major work? The dendritic cells are there. When antigen is coming, the dendritic cells, they are capturing the antigen and then they are presenting this antigen to the T cells, and where the T cells are present, T cells are also present in the paracortex region. Now coming for the medulla, so the predominant cells are the B cells. Now in case of medulla, that is the pink color area particularly. Here the major cells are the B cells, macrophages, reticular cells and the plasma cells. So whenever we are saying that the plasma cells are there, it means there will be the production or the secretion of antibodies. So in case of medulla, there will be the production of antibodies. So whenever the activated T cells so the predominant cells are the B cells, macrophages, reticular cells and the plasma cells which are present in the medulla. Now activated T cells ultimately exit lymph nodes and enter the circulation. So when activated T cells means the T cells to whom the antigen has been presented. So these T cells are the activated T cells. Once an antigen is being trapped by the dendritic cells and it is presented to the T cells, now the T cells has become activated and these activated T cells ultimately exit lymph node and enter the circulation. Okay, whereas the activated B cells, so T cells, if activated T cells are there, they will be going outgoing lymph vessels, so they will be going out from the circulation. Okay, from here they will be going out, particularly here, and so activated T cells ultimately exit lymph node and enter the circulation. Whereas the activated B cells, activated B cells are present in the medulla. So activated B cells migrate to the germinal center or medulla. So this is the yellow color is the follicle or the germinal center. This is the germinal centers. Okay, when activated B cells enters the follicle, there will be the formation of germinal center or medulla and secrete antibody. So they can be in the germinal center or in the particularly medulla itself. So they will be secreting the antibodies. So lymph nodes are having both the T cell area and the B cell area, and depending on the type of the antigen, T cells or B cells, they will be activated. So this is the section of bovine lymph node particularly. Here we are seeing the capsule area is being seen here. Then cortex area, you will able to see the cortex, and then paracortex, and inside is the medulla. Now coming for the hemolymph. What are the hemolymph? Its function is not clear. Hemolymph nodes are structures similar to the lymph nodes found in association with sub-blood vessel of ruminants and other mammals. So, just like the lymph nodes, they are similar to the lymph nodes, but their function is not clear. But the hemolymph nodes are a structure similar to lymph nodes found in association with some blood vessels of ruminants and other mammals. They differ from the conventional lymph nodes in that the lymphatic sinus contains numerous red cells. So particularly that's why we are saying as hemo. Hemo means RBCs are much more in number in them. That's why we are saying it as a hemolymph. So particularly when talking about the dendritic cells, because I was saying that the dendritic cells, they are also present, okay, where in the paracortex region. So these are the specialized cells found in the epithelia of the skin, GI tract, okay, and in most parenchymal organ. Morphologically, they have membranous or spine-like projections, and they have lobulated nuclei and clear cytoplasm containing characteristic granules called Birbach granules. Characteristic granules called Birbach granules are found in case of particularly dendritic cells, and they capture antigen and transport these antigen to the peripheral lymphoid organs. Instead of superficial, peripheral, we can say peripheral lymphoid organs. So they capture antigen and transport these antigens to the, because they are present on the surface, dendritic cells. They are present on the epithelia or on the skin. So particularly they may be present on the skin, respiratory tract or GI tract or in most of the parenchymal organ. So this is about the dendritic cells. Now coming for the lymphocyte circulation. So we were talking about the lymph nodes. So how the circulation used to take place in case of lymph. So in the structure of the lymph, you have seen that the afferent lymphatics and the efferent lymphatics are present. So the lymph node, this is here, it is the lymph node. This is the structure of the lymph node. Okay, and this is the efferent lymphatics. So the lymph node leaves lymph node. So the lymph leaves lymph node by way of different or way of efferent lymphatics. So if the lymph is there, how if the lymph is circulating from the lymphatic vessels, okay, large lymphatic vessels, and in between different lymph nodes are present. So if lymph has to flow from the lymph node, then what will be? It will be passing it through the efferent lymphatics, and so many efferent lymphatics. It is on single efferent lymphatics, and from the second efferent lymphatics also, this and third, fourth different lymph nodes, efferent lymphatics will be there, and they will be joining with the each other, forming the large vesicles. So the lymph leaves lymph node by way of efferent lymphatics, which join together into the large lymph vessels. Okay. And the largest lymph vessel is the largest lymph vessels in our body is the thoracic duct. Okay, so here efferent lymphatics and the lymph, it is joining the thoracic duct. It collects the lymph from lower body and intestine and empties it into the interior vena cava, means in the heart particularly. And if the thoracic duct is cannulated and the lymph removed, blood lymphocytes drop significantly. So the predominant lymphocytes in the blood are the T cells. The predominant lymphocytes in the blood are the T cells. Okay, in case of blood or in the arteries, the predominant lymphocytes are the T cells, and they leave the blood by two ways. How they are passing out from the blood? Once the antigen will be the antigen who are naive or particularly who have not been exposed to the antigen, and second will be the antigen who have been exposed to the or encountered with the antigen previously. So those which have not encountered antigen previously, it means the naive one, जो नए नए हैं एंटीजेंस टी सेल्स, जो अभी तक जिनका एक्सपोजर नहीं हुआ किसी भी एंटीजन से, okay, bind to the venues in the paracortex of lymph node. We have seen the paracortex of the lymph node, and these are called, so in the paracortex of the lymph node there are high endothelial venues. It is also known as HEV, high endothelial venues, because they possess tall rounded endothelial cells unlike the flattened one found in the other blood vessels. So the blood vessels which are in the paracortex, okay, they are having high endothelial venues. So those which do not, so the antigens or the T cells which have never been exposed to the antigen, what will be? They will be binding into the paracortex of the lymph nodes. Okay, with these are called the high endothelial venules because they possess tall round endothelial cells unlike the flattened ones found in other blood vessels, and they are joined by discontinuous, not the continuous, they are joined by the discontinuous junction which facilitates passage of lymphocyte between them. And in contrast to the naive T cells, memory T cells leave the world via conventional blood vessels. Okay, if particularly a first time exposure is there and the second time the same antigen is being exposed, there will be the formation of memory cell. Okay, in contrast, so the T cell, memory T cells leave the via the conventional blood vessels in tissues and then carried to lymph nodes by afferent limbs. So they will be carried into the tissues, particularly tissue fluids, by the afferent. They will be carrying into the lymph node. So in this way, two type of circulation or the lymphocyte circulation used to take place in the lymph nodes, and all of the different lymphatics of, will be joining with the forming a large vessels, and the largest vessel is the thoracic duct, and the thoracic duct particularly it collects lymph from the lower part and the intestine and empties into the anterior vena cava in the heart. So this is about the lymphocyte circulation. So this is the same structure which I was showing you. So the naive lymphocytes go this way particularly. Okay, naive means those who have been exposed for the first time, naive lymphocytes. While the particularly, so they once they will be entering this way, they will be moving or they will coming out of the efferent lymph nodes. While the second one, they will be coming from the blood vessels into the tissue fluid. Then it means those who have been exposed to the antigen, they with the tissue fluids, they will be going with the afferent lymph to the lymph node. Okay, those or they are also those who have been exposed previously to the antigens are also known as the prime lymphocytes. Now coming for the second structure, about the secondary lymphoid organ, that is the spleen. So the spleen is the major site of immune responses to blood-borne antigen. Okay, whenever there is any of the infection in our body, the major response will be played, or the major role will be played, will be the spleen is playing the major role. So spleen is the major site of immune response to the blood-borne antigen. And the lymph nodes filter antigen from lymph, whereas the spleen filters antigen from the blood. Okay? We were knowing that the lymph nodes filter antigen from the lymph. We are seeing that the lymphatic vessels, lymph nodes are present in between, and it is required for trapping of the antigen. Where the same function in the blood vessels, or parallel to the function of the lymph vessels or the lymph nodes, the function of the spleen is there, and the spleen filters antigen from the blood. So the filtering process removes both antigen particles and aged blood cells. It is not only the antigen is being removed, other than that the aged blood cells are also being removed. So the spleen stores red blood cells and platelets and produce blood cells in the fetus. So spleen stores RBCs and platelets and produce blood cells in the fetus. Spleen, now when talking about the structure of the spleen is covered by a capsule. So this is the spleen in case of human being, and particularly when talking about the structure of the spleen, it is a bean shape, again bean shape structure, and particularly here you are able to see that there is a capsule. The outer covering is known as the capsule. It is the capsule. Outer covering is known as the capsule, covered by capsule, and trabeculae pass into the splenic pulp. Trabeculae means these are the, if blood vessels are there will be the bifurcation of the blood vessels and the supply of blood vessels. So small blood vessels, they are known as the trabeculae. So spleen is covered by a capsule and trabeculae pass into the splenic pulp. So this splenic pulp particularly is divided into two components. They are known as the red pulp. And the inner portion is known as the white pulp. So this is particularly the histopathology of structure of bovine spleen. Here you can find the lymphatic, particularly the blood vessels is there, and these blood vessels particularly later they will be into the small blood vessels or the trabeculae, and they will be supplying blood. So outer portion is known as the red pulp and the inner one is the white pulp, because it will be looking white while the outside is the red pulp. So the red pulp surround the white pulp and contains mainly RBCs and macrophages. Okay, so that's why its name is red pulp, because due to the presence of red blood cells, it is looking red, and along with the RBCs, macrophages are also present. So whenever the macrophages are present, what will be their role? Macrophages, they will be used for phagocytizing the cells or the antigens. So the main function of the red pulp is to phagocytize all red blood cells. And the blood supplies the spleen by a single splenic artery that pierces the capsule at hilus and progressively divided into branch as trabecular artery. Okay, so only major one splenic artery is there which is supplying the blood to the spleen, and later on it is bifurcation is there, or its branches are there which will be supplying. So the small trabecular arterioles are surrounded by cuffs of lymphocyte. Okay, so the small trabecular arterioles are surrounded by cups of lymphocytes. Cups of lymphocytes means these arterioles, they are surrounded by T cells and are called the T cell zones in a cylindrical form and are called periarterial lymphoid sheath, or it is also known as the pulse. So, if it is a small trabecular artery there, it is surrounded by our lymphocytes, and these lymphocytes particularly in a cylindrical form and are called periarterial. So, it is outside or it is surrounding the artery, so it is known as the periarterial lymphoid sheath, or it is known as the pulse. So, small trabecular are surrounded by a cuff of lymphocytes, or we can say the T cells or the T cell zones are present outside this particularly trabeculae. So the germinal center develop on antigenic stimulation. So germinal centers, they are not present as such. So whenever there is stimulation of the antigen, and now they will be called as the Malpighian corpuscles. So the germinal centers develops on, and whenever the antigen is present, there will be the stimulation of the germinal centers, or germinal center develops on antigenic stimulation, and they are also called as the Malpighian corpuscles. They are known as the Malpighian corpuscles. So this white pulp and the red pulp are separated by marginal zone, which is formed by fine spongy work of reticular cells and their fibers. Both T cells and B cells are present in this zone. Okay. So where they are both T cells and B cells are present, they are in the marginal zone. Marginal zone means the zone which is in between the white pulp and the red pulp. So the white pulp and the red pulp, they are separated by the marginal